Hello, everybody. It's Mrs. Pound, and we are studying Chapter 6.2 An Application of Genetics from Purposeful Design's Life Science. Today, the section we're going to talk about is Section 623 on genetically modified organisms. Our objectives are going to be to explain what a genetically modified organism is and express opinions about whether GMOs are ethically questionable. So, what is a GMO or a genetically modified organism? It's a living thing whose DNA has been altered by the addition or deletion of genes. Some examples of things that we do this with are corn, tomatoes, golden rice, soybeans, canola, and ruby red grapefruit. So, chances are you have consumed a genetically modified organism because I'm sure most of you have had corn or corn syrup, tomatoes, some soybean product, or ruby red grapefruit. GMO foods are produced by exposing plants to a mutagen to damage the plant's DNA, which we've talked about how mutagens change the DNA, or by using recombinant DNA techniques, so by inserting genes into the DNA. Some benefits of GMOs are that we can produce foods that do not spoil as quickly. So, here, tomatoes, they can have a longer shelf life at the grocery store if we're able to insert genes into them that prevent spoilage by perhaps producing some natural antibiotics of some kind. Also, crops that are resistant to harmful insects and viruses. Again, they can produce their own pesticides or repellents that occur naturally in nature, but are inserted from one plant to another. Okay, so they're not a gene that's normally found in that plant, but they are a gene found in plants that's then inserted into another plant. And more nutritious foods. This on the left is golden rice. It has genes introduced into it that it produces more vitamins and minerals in that rice. So it's more nutritious, and people can get nutrients from rice that they normally would not. Some ethical concerns. One ethical concern is the environmental impact of herbicide-resistant plants cross-pollinating with weeds. So, one thing that we can do is we can alter the genes so that when we spray a crop with herbicide, it will not kill that plant, but it will kill the weeds around it, the things that we don't want. What happens if the plant that we're trying to keep from being killed by the herbicide is closely related with a weed and cross-pollinates it with it, and then we have the issue that we cannot kill the weeds with the herbicide. That could be a problem. Another one is that it may affect human health by causing allergic reactions, cancer, or harming the immune system. Perhaps we will introduce a gene into the plant that normally would not be there, but causes an allergic reaction in an individual because it belongs to another plant that they're actually allergic to. As far as cancer or harming the immune system is concerned, perhaps we are putting something like antibiotics to prevent spoilage or herbicides or something into the plant to, or pesticides, even though they're natural, they may not be good for us to consume. Because if you're putting antibiotics into things, then that's actually killing some of our gut bacteria, which is actually linked to our immune system and things like that. So we could be introducing chemicals, even though they are natural, because they are made by other plants, we may be introducing chemicals into our food that should not really be there, that we're not accustomed to. It may also reduce food production in poorer countries. How it does this is in some countries, they have developed, say, it looks like this is a wheat harvest. They have developed wheat in that area that grows well there. It may not be the top producing, but maybe it's drought resistant because it's in a dry area, or maybe it is in an area where there's a lot of water, and so it can handle that. So the crops were designed for that area. Well, what happens if in a poor area, they no longer grow those crops? They decide to go with the genetically modified organism because of some characteristic it has, but it doesn't grow well there. Well, now they've reduced their food production. They've lost their plants that normally grow there, and they are in trouble. In fact, in India, this did happen with seeds that were developed. Seed companies went in and said, "These are great seeds. Use these seeds. We're going to buy your seed that you normally use. You have to sell it to us in order to use our seeds." The people did that, and then the companies would not sell them back their seed, and they were in trouble because the seeds that they were sold were not growing as well in their area. So, our objectives today were to explain what a genetically modified organism is and to express opinions about whether GMOs are ethically questionable. Don't forget your 5 questions in your notes and to continue watching and answering the questions at the end.